EM follows us to the city on our girls' weekend. A few months ago, I turned 18 and wanted to find a way to celebrate the new independence. One of my closest friends had already turned 19. I thought it'd be fun for the two of us to rent a hotel in San Francisco, which is about an hour away or so. We both had been to the city countless times and knew our way around many of the popular areas. My parents both had no problem with this since they trusted us. We've been friends since elementary school, and I'd say we never really got into any big trouble. We've always been pretty good. We never did anything illegal or risky. My friend especially is always about following rules, etc. My friend's mom is the entitled mother in the story. For background, her mom is horrible. She doesn't allow my friend any freedom or the ability to make her own choices. She's toxic and extremely controlling. She talked my friend out of going to her dream college in New York and instead to go to a local community college. They said if she went to New York, they would go with her. I talked to my friend about the trip a little over a month before it was to happen because I knew she needed to talk with her mom. Her mom said it was fine and we were ecstatic. I booked the hotel for 2 nights. Fast forward to the literal night before, I get a call from my friend crying, saying her mom changed her mind about letting her go. When asked why, she said her mom didn't feel safe with the idea and because she said so. Thankfully, my dad offered to come check on us the next morning since he goes to the city for work anyway. This seemed enough for entitled mother to let her go. The following morning, we are getting ready to leave. My dad offered to drive us so we didn't have to deal with parking and traffic. I was waiting for my friend to get dropped off, and when she came, her dad came out and talked with us for a bit. Before leaving, he looks at her and says to be safe, then turns around and says to me, "Don't worry, we fully trust you. We just don't trust other people." By the time we finally get to the hotel, we are relieved. It had felt like an endless fight trying to let her parents be okay with her coming. During this time, San Francisco was very strict on being vaccinated, and many places required proof of vaccine with an ID. My friend left her ID at home and asked her parents to send a picture of it, which they did. No biggie. Everything will still be fun, we thought. A few hours later, we decided to walk literally across the street from our hotel to a CVS to pick up some snacks. As we are crossing the street, I see a car and laugh saying how it looked like her mom's car. She laughed and said the guy looked like her dad too. As they come closer, we realize it is her dad and mom. They rolled down the window and waved. She ran over to talk to them and they said they came to bring her ID. After a few minutes of her talking to them, she runs back over to me with the biggest look of disappointment. She says to me, "Don't be mad. They booked a night in the same hotel as us." I was annoyed as I feel this was just disrespectful. My friend was really upset as she never gets to do anything on her own. We get back to our room and they call us asking if we want to get dinner with them. She tells them no and then also refuses to tell them our room number. She expresses that we are both upset and then her mom proceeds to accuse me of hiding something or planning to do something bad. After that, we tried to ignore them and they continued to call and argue with her. I felt really bad, but we ended up having a good time once they finally left us alone. I truly don't understand parents who do this and then act surprised when their kids don't want to be around them. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It sounds like your friend really wanted to enjoy her vacation without her parents around, and they were so focused on their own agenda that they couldn't respect her wishes. It's a good thing you two were able to have fun in the end, but I'd advise you to have a talk with your friend and her parents just so you two can let them know how possessive they are being and how that doesn't come across in a very loving way. Parents feel entitled to choose who I can date or not. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 6 months now, but before that, we were friends for a long time. He was at an exchange program at my university and we just hit it off. He's basically my best friend. I can talk to him about anything and I feel incredibly safe and protected by him. My parents are Muslims. Mom is Asian and dad is Arab. The thing is, my boyfriend's a recent convert. He converted before we met actually, so it was entirely his decision. So chances of my parents being against him is 150%. Just the other day, my aunt asked me if I was seeing anyone. I didn't tell her that I was dating or anything of the sort, just that I had a friend I liked. She asked for a picture. I shared it with her. I said I liked him and he likes me, but he's a convert and younger than me. She asked which religion is he from. I said that his parents are Buddhist. I never mentioned his race to her either. She said he was cute, but she's against it because of the age difference. I'm supposed to be the younger one in the relationship. A few days later, while going on a hellish long drive with my mom, she started bringing up topics about women who marry recent converts being cursed, that their children will be born handicapped, their husbands will cheat on them eventually, and that the guys are only converting because of the girl, not for themselves. So the guys will revert back to whatever their original religion was. She kept asking to see my phone and see if I was going out with anyone, kept accusing me of keeping secrets from her. She proceeded to tell me that my dad dreamt of me, being in a bathtub with a black Nigerian man with horns, and having my back turned on my parents in the dream. The year before, my dad dreamt I was naked in a hot tub with some ugly fat guy. So now my dad is crying because he thinks that the devil has won and made me astray from the path. I was looking for something on my mom's phone, a video. I scrolled down and there it was, my boyfriend's pic in her phone, sent by my aunt. I felt betrayed, but I kept quiet. I wanted to see where this was going. Today, my mom told me that she dreamt of a Chinese man, wearing all red, bowing before her and bobbing his head. This is so racist, I don't even know what to say anymore. She asked me again, much more sternly this time, am I seeing anyone? I said I liked someone. She asked if he had slanted eyes. Racist Asian mom language, is he Chinese? I said yes. How long have you known him? 2 years. You've been keeping this quiet? I told you that I need to screen every single one of your boyfriends. I don't like this guy, he's a convert, has slanted eyes and is a lot younger than you. It will never work out, I don't approve of him. No wonder your father has been crying. He was right. She wants me to be with someone of similar age or he needs to be older than me. Comes from a line of Muslims, is an original Muslim and is religious. And no Buddhist/Chinese, because they hate Muslims and will do whatever it takes to sway Muslims from the right path. My heart just broke. I don't know, deep down, I wanted them to be okay with this. I feel betrayed by my aunt. I feel like I'm being trapped by my parents. It's gotten to the point where I might just wait till everyone dies before I start to date openly. I love being with him, but I think he deserves better. I'm fine with being single. I'll be sad, sure, but at least I won't make my parents cry over it. I hate making them sad or disappointing them. I can't move out because in Islam, it is illegal for women to live on their own. I also can't just elope and marry my boyfriend if we choose to do so, because I need blessings from my parents in order to get married. I'm sorry, my mind is a mess right now. I really don't know how to deal with this situation. This is mainly why I never introduced them to my other boyfriends, because I guess deep down, I knew they never accept who I choose. So this is pretty disheartening. I'll probably never look for a relationship ever again if this is how the outcome will always be. It puts me off completely. I care about them a lot and I don't want to make them sad. But on the other hand, if I do marry someone they approve of, I'm going to be honest, it'd probably be just for them. I'd probably silently resent my future husband for this and it's not fair. I'll be sad if I marry someone they approve. I can't choose who I like. They'll be sad if I marry someone they don't approve. Feels like the best way is to just not get married, to be honest. You know, I think you should go ahead and date this guy. I know that it's not ideal and that it will cause some problems, but I really don't think you should give up on this relationship because of your parents. You've been dating for a while now, so you must be pretty happy with him. You're an adult now, and I think that it's time to start making your own decisions. Marriage is a huge deal, and you will be spending the rest of your life with the person you marry, so it must be your choice. I understand that you would like your parents' blessing, so you must not give up and keep telling them how much you love this person and how well suited you are together. I hope things work out perfectly for you. My mom turned her guest room into a nursery after I told her she will never meet my child. I'm currently pregnant with my first child, and both my mom and stepdad have been terrible to me and my partner the entire time. Told us we would be unfit parents because we aren't married yet. Legitimately scream at my partner for knocking up their little girl, even though we planned the pregnancy. They would call him every day and harass him, and showing up to his work. Try to convince him to leave me so I would have no choice but to move back in with them. It got worse as time went on. I finally decided to cut contact with them. Having a child can already be a stressful time, and having them around to make it worse was not something I was okay with. My partner and I have gone through a lot with family drama the past couple of years, and having this baby has been one of the most exciting things for us. If my parents can't be nice to my partner, then they don't get to see our baby. Plus, they are the kind of people who don't wear masks in public and actively choose to be in larger gatherings with no social distancing. So them seeing a newborn is out of the question. One day, I sent my mom a very detailed email of why she's not allowed to be a part of my life anymore and will not be seeing her grandchild. To make things even better, I also noted that we will be moving across the country shortly after she is born to be closer to other family members. So not only is she cut off, but we are literally moving far away and never coming back. She responds by showing up at our house at 11 p.m., screaming outside our door about how it is her baby and she deserves to be there for it. I tell her to frick off and eventually she leaves. Months go by and she will text me randomly asking about technical problems with her Wi-Fi router or something and needs help. Little things like that don't mean much to me and I sent her the info she needed. My cousin also had a virtual baby shower and sent my invitation to my mom's house accidentally, so my mom came by to give it to me. Things slowly came to a point that we were fairly amicable with each other, but I still stood my ground about our boundaries and nothing else had changed. She knew this. Then she sends me a video today that blew my mind. She redecorated her entire guest room to be a nursery. Crib, changing table, $400 worth of newborn clothes, toy chest, stroller, a car seat for her car, and the list goes on. In the video, she is in tears saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe my baby is going to be here soon. This is where she will sleep, where I will change her little diapers. These will be her toys." Is she psychotic? Her baby? Sleeping and living at her house? What? So I call her up immediately and I reiterate that we are still moving across the country soon and that she will have no contact with the baby before that. Her response? "Oh, okay, we will see about that." Genuinely confused. What part of "you will have no contact with this baby" does she not understand or thinks will change in the next few weeks when she is born? Is she planning on stealing her from us? I am at a loss for words. To start off with, I completely understand your desire to move away from your family and make a new life for yourself somewhere else. You're an adult now, so it's perfectly okay for you to make decisions like this without consulting anyone else, which is probably why she was so mad at you. It's great that you have a plan and a goal in mind. I think it's also important to remember that your mother might feel a little left out because she has no idea what's going on in your life right now. This could explain why she feels like her opinion matters more than yours. Maybe because if your plans go through as planned, then things will never be the same between the two of you again. And that must be scary for her. "You are who I tell you to be," said my mom. I, 27-year-old female, got into it with my mother today, and I don't think our relationship will ever be the same after this one. To be honest, our relationship was always rocky for years, but I tried to make it better after moving out a few years ago. We got into it because my niece, 13, came out as lesbian and she was mad because, well, to be honest, my mom's homophobe, which got worse after I moved out because she became excessively religious. I said something like, "Oh, well, it is what it is," when she told me, and she did not like that. She started going on and on about how, "No, it's not. It's the devil working in her, and I can't bring myself to see her again," which shocked me because I knew how my mom is, but to just disown her only grandchild like that struck a nerve with me. I then said, "So just because niece is who she is, you want to not see her again? You've been in her life since birth. How could you?" She then skipped over that and said something like, "Well, I'm mad because I told her that's not how we are in the family. And your sister pisses me off because, well, you and your sister are pissing me off because you're acting like this isn't a big deal. Niece isn't gay. She just thinks that because of something she saw on social media." She then went on to talk about how God made men for women and vice versa, saying that we're letting the devil work in our life. I then said, God made us all in his image, right? If homosexuality was something he didn't agree with at all, then he should be able to make it so it wasn't a thing, right? She tried to say it was the devil, but I cut her off with, "So you're saying that someone who devotes themselves to God, prays every day, worships and praises him in his name, is still letting the devil work through them? People don't choose to be gay, lesbian, etc., and niece is no different. She's still niece, and her preference and attraction doesn't change that." Then my mom said this, and it just hit that nerve that I tried to ignore for years. "I'm all of your mother. You are who I tell you to be." Why did this strike a nerve? Well, my mother has been controlling over me for years. Growing up, it was on and off, but when I became an adult, she kicked it into full gear. Yelling at me, making me do things, controlling my money, not letting me drive, not letting me go anywhere, hitting me, and basically did everything she could to make me feel like I was the size of a rice grain. Hell, just the other day, she told me how I was different because I didn't ask permission to move out, unlike my sister that asked, which I doubt, by the way. I was 23, engaged, and tired of getting treated like I was nothing under her roof, so my husband and his mom helped me by moving me in with them. I can honestly say that if I stayed any longer, that I would have probably taken my own life. That one statement, and I realized that my mom wasn't just absent-mindedly controlling, she was fully in control of making me feel like an object. I don't know how to explain it, but it just made me feel worse. She then said, "If this is how you're gonna be, then I don't want to talk to you ever again either." So I took a deep breath and said, "Well, if it's like that, then I should tell you that I've been bisexual since I was 12 years old, and that never changed." She lost her mind. She hung up and texted me, my sister, and my niece in a group chat. "You three can just come over and stick a knife in my heart. Really? Are you all trying to kill me? I'm so hurt right now." My sister said how not to bring up my niece into this chat, and then mom continued. "The devil's so busy, but keep on entertaining him. Listen, I don't give a flying frick." There was some more, but she messaged me privately and told me to leave her alone, and this is where I'm at now. So yeah, I came out to support my niece, and honestly, it felt good to stand up for myself for once. My anxiety is going crazy at the moment, but I don't regret what I said or did. Unfortunately, I'm sure my mom will die on this hill. I really hope things get better for you and your family, especially your niece. I can't imagine how hard it must be to grow up with a grandma who is completely against your wishes, but hopefully you can show her what a healthy relationship looks like. If there's even a small chance of you sorting this issue out with your mom, you really should though. You will only ever have one mother, so you must try to maintain a relationship with her if possible. However, if you believe she has already crossed the line and it's best for you to completely cut her out of your life, then that is what you should do. Entitled Mom Yells at Teenagers and Has Security Called on Her. For context, I, an 18-year-old male, am a lifeguard, and my pool is located within a much larger campus. We operate as both a campus facility and a private swim club. A membership to our swim club costs $350 for a family of 8, comes with 5 free guest passes, all good for up to 8 people, and access to the entire campus. Every clap of thunder is 30 minutes of closed water. Every strike of lightning is an hour. When we close for thunder, patrons are supposed to avoid all water and remain on the deck. And when we close for lightning, patrons are supposed to remain under shelter and away from all bodies of water. 2 weeks before the story, we had experienced a microburst that took down several trees and knocked a power line into a body of water directly across our one and only entrance to the campus. Obviously, without a way to access the pool, we were closed for 2 days. One family in particular comes into our pool every chance they get, now referred to as the Smiths. They're there so often that I know all 3 children by name and have spoke to their mother on multiple occasions. Obviously, I will be changing all names for privacy. I have never hated children more than I hate these 3. This entire family could get their own posts, so I won't even begin to dig into them. But their aunt occasionally brings her children with the rest of the family, now referred to as the Davids, as she did today. At the time of the story, the day before posting, my supervisor, Trigon, had left for a convention in DC a few hours earlier. Okay, so, onto the story. Due to constant thunder, we opened our deck to the swim club like normal, but informed everyone entering that they were unable to enter the water. For the most part, families were understanding that we have no control over the situation and either waited patiently for the water to open or decided to go home. All was going smoothly until the oldest and worst Smith boy walked through the door. We informed him and his younger brother that the water was closed due to the weather, and they both informed the rest of their party. This should have been our first red flag. Mama David walked past our desk with her gaggle of children and, to our faces, mentioned something along the lines of not hearing any thunder, but she didn't protest further and kept walking. The kids, both Smith and David, had brought reusable water balloons, so we were allowing them to refill a bucket for them with an outdoor shower a few feet away from us. Eventually, they had been using it so much that it was becoming a safety concern, and we told the kids they weren't allowed to fill their water balloons with pool water or with our shower head. Once or twice, they tried to run back and refill it super quick. Once, Mama David came and filled it. I don't remember what I was doing, but I had stepped away from our front desk to do lifeguard things and was returning as my manager, Starfire, 17-year-old female, was once again telling them they were no longer allowed to use the shower. I had to pass the party on my way back and, as I passed them, Mama David stopped me to argue about why we wouldn't allow them to use the shower, both the safety of the families and the safety of the guards. As time went on, the children behaved like children, constantly running to our front desk to ask when the water would open again and groaning each time we had to reset the clock. Now, any normal parent would hear rolling thunder and take their children home, as several families did. But if you're an entitled parent, you sit and wait and you complain. Eventually, we reopened the water. Trigon had told us to close at 4, but we decided to wait out our lightning timer and allow the kids in the water for 30 minutes and then close at 5. We announced that the water would be opening for half an hour and then everyone would have to leave. Legally, the water should not have been open. As soon as I finished our opening announcement, we heard thunder, but we let it slide. At this point, it's important to mention out that our oldest guard present was 18. Our youngest was 17. Mama David and Mama Smith both approached our front desk. They began asking why we were only open for 30 minutes and pointing out that the sun was out and the rain had gone away. Starfire explained to her that it wasn't our call and that Trigon had told us what to do. Mama David continued complaining that the sky was clear and the chance of rain had decreased. We once again informed her that it was not our call and she was welcome to call Trigon to question him about it. We told her where she could find his number and, despite him working at a con out of town, he would be incredibly likely to answer his phone, as we had just got off the phone with him a few minutes prior. Despite us telling her how to find his number, she began asking for his personal number. We offered to call him for her, and she finally seemed satisfied. I'm very gossipy. As soon as the woman walked away, I jumped from my chair and ran to tell my coworkers, Raven and Gizmo, and Starfire followed soon after. Starfire had just gotten off the phone with Trigon, who told her to call security and remove the entire party if they continued to behave this way, and to give them his work number and have them call him if they have questions. We waited patiently in the bathroom as Starfire went and talked to Mama David. A A few minutes later, Starfire returned and seemed visibly shaken up. Mama David had began demanding we tell her Trigon's work number, and Starfire explained that Trigon is her father and that all the guards know him personally, so we don't know his work number as we have no need for it. Mama David began screaming at Starfire and was still yelling as she walked back to us. We once again called Trigon, who called our security guard. Our security guard arrived a few minutes later as I was switching my final coworker. Mama David, while being escorted out, was still yelling and began threatening our security guard with calling Trigon and filing a complaint. According to Mama David, she was close friends with our CEO's wife, who does not work for the company. Unfortunately, our CEO was walking past the pool as security was walking the family out. The family left the pool but decided to sit in the field directly behind Robin's car, essentially blocking her in. Eventually, Raven and Gizmo's mother had both arrived at the same time and both parked beside Robin. After the entire family had settled in the grass, our CEO walked into the pool and pulled Starfire outside to explain the situation. When Starfire told him what Mama David had said about his wife, he asked who the woman even was. Eventually, almost an hour after the entire ordeal had ended, Trigon and our CEO advised us to leave altogether and not interact with the family, as they were still sitting in the grass. This time, with the addition of CEO's wife. The funniest part is that, while the rest of her family moved as we pulled into the grass, Mama David stayed put with her toddler in her lap, maybe a foot from her back tire. It sounds like the family was just a bunch of obnoxious jerks. I'm sorry you and your coworkers had to deal with that. Maybe you could take some time in the future to be friendly with some of the other families that come in, so that when something like this happens again, you can help them out instead of dealing with them yourself. Although I don't know how much that would help with a family as stubborn as the ones you mentioned, especially Mama David, who is willing to put her kids' safety at risk just to prove a point. If you enjoyed these stories, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Check out the other videos on your screen right now, otherwise, you're definitely the jerk.